I'm Madison Gilbert. I'm in the Air Force. I'm the 372nd Training Squadron Detachment 13 Commander at Nellis Air Force Base near Las Vegas, Nevada. I received my undergrad from the Air Force Academy in 2009, and hopefully I'll be graduating from Auburn this December of 2012. This is my second MIS class. I'm an MBA major, and this is actually the first time I've been introduced to big data. So it's pretty interesting to hear all of your presentations about it so far. I'm probably knowledgeable enough to ask intelligent questions, but not really enough to do anything with it. But we'll see. My presentation today will be on probabilistic latent semantic indexing in the Air Force. My information is provided at the bottom of the screen if you need to contact me with any questions. It will also be at the end of my presentation on the questions slide. What I'll be briefing you today is what probabilistic latent semantic indexing is, how the Air Force is using it, and how it relates to big data. Well, PLSI is a way of searching big data. It tries to guess what the document's about using a calculus function and looking at keywords and synonyms. So you could have a document that's all about the Taliban, but it might not even say that exact word. But PLSI can pick up what the document's about just from the other words used in the document. It centers on the likelihood principle, defines a generative model, and directly minimizes word perplexity. So for a word breakdown of PLSI, probabilistic means affected by randomness and uncertainty. Latent is undeveloped or hidden. Semantic is related to word meanings. And indexing provides a detailed list of the data. PLSI uses an algorithmic formula to search the data. It's extremely complicated, but it essentially searches a document for words and their synonyms and then puts them in a term document matrix. How is the Air Force using it? Well, according to Peterson and Mills research, insiders pose the greatest threat to an organization. The Air Force announced it's in the process of developing a data mining technology meant to root out disaffected insiders based on their email activity. So the mission of this purchase is to find potential threats before any real damage can occur. Why would you care about this? Well, most likely you're a tax-paying citizen and you should probably know what some of your defense money is going toward. But if you're not, and I know that we have some Chinese students in our class, so then it's at least a little bit of information on how PLSI works. So the Air Force, how the Air Force is using it. They're developing an approach to track emails that individuals receive and send, as well as websites that we've been to and our search histories. If the individual's behavior changes, like if they are continuously looking at sites they had never looked at before, then the individual will also be flagged. Possible changes can include the individual has been, who the individual has been emailing, about what, and the topics searched. So if I all of a sudden go from emailing a certain group of people one day to a completely different group the next day, talking about some of the trigger words like Taliban, jihad, any of those, whatever the words the Air Force decides are, potential threats, then they would flag me to make sure that I really am not a potential threat. They'll also track individuals who look up suspicious topics but don't discuss them internally, since they have researched and found that people who don't discuss sensitive topics that they have researched within their organization are more likely to talk to external parties about that research. So this slide is kind of an interview of what I'll be talking about in the next couple of slides, but the Air Force is going to use PLSI to analyze synonyms, then list the documents and emails by how many words the synonyms and synonyms appear in that document. Then they're going to put in a matrix, and that matrix can be used to find possible internal threats. So here's the PLSI formula. Honestly, I cannot really tell you a whole lot about it, but it looks very complicated. So I don't know, maybe someone in class can look at it and figure out exactly what it's saying, but this is what they use. So the Air Force will formulate a request listing all words that may result in a particular threat. I listed some on the next slide, but unfortunately the Air Force doesn't reveal which words they use, because then of course I could just not use any of those words and be a threat. So I just ended up using the Google AdWord keyword tool. I think it's more for businesses trying to figure out what keywords they put on their websites, but I just used it to try to come up with a list as shown here. So they think that these, say they think that these are what people who are internal threats to the Air Force may use, like say Taliban, and if they use a few of these words, it will be higher on the term document matrix than if they didn't have any of the threat words or only one or two. I assume their thinking is that you'd be a greater potential threat the more words you used, and the closer they were to the keyword. But I'm not exactly sure, because I would understand that if you had one email that you only use like 2 words, and then if you have another email that's just a lot longer and you use 10, I'm not sure how they would rationalize that, but more to come. So the Air Force would use a list like the one on the previous slide to search the data, and would and then their findings would be put into a term document matrix. The rationale for using PLSI approach, according to Hoffman, is that documents which share frequently co-occurring terms will have a similar representation in the latent space, even if they have no terms in common. So this will mitigate errors occurring with words such as hack, because the table shows that hack is a word under the keyword security. So by them using PLSI, they wouldn't get the documents that are talking about a hacking cough from the dust in Colorado. It would eliminate these documents and hopefully only show you documents that use hack when referring to security violations, etc. If the article referred to hacking in a government computer, several other terms on the list may be used, which would be visible in the term document matrix. So the term document matrices would then find the similarities between all the documents and rank the documents on how much of a threat that individual is. This would allow for the Air Force to pinpoint irregular behavior that could lead to the possible prevention of security breaches and the like. So this is how my presentation fits into big data. Each piece of information the Air Force searches is part of big data. I've been at my current job for almost 3 months, about 2.5 months now, and I just looked, and I have over 7,000 emails saved. And these don't even include the ones that are the mass emails or the emails that are really not important that I don't need to save, and the ones that I delete. So the Air Force has all this data from every person that, like all of their employees, military and civilians. Just millions of emails, SharePoint documents, anything on the interweb or internet. And the Air Force uses all this information to better know their employees and to track our behavior changes. So they're planning on using all of this data to perform the PLSI I described in the previous slides, and hopefully more real-time data as well. So quickly, I talked about probabilistic latent semantic indexing today, and how the Air Force is attempting to use it, and also how it's related to big data. If you have any questions, you can definitely email me at madison.gilbert@gmail.com. And I also have a question for you all. Do you think that the Air Force really needs this? And do you think it will be effective? I'm a business major, so I don't know a whole lot about MIS, but it just seems to me like this is very difficult and costly for possibly not a whole lot of gain. So I was just wondering about that. Well, thank you so much, and I look forward to hearing from you all online. Bye.